He built everything with his hands, the house, the cars, the empire. Yet on his 15th wedding anniversary, his wife humiliated him in front of his family like a beggar on the street. It was supposed to be a celebration, a 15th wedding anniversary, but instead, it became the day a man lost everything, his pride, his home, and nearly his mind. Michael sat on the cold marble stairs outside his own house. He wasn't a guest. He wasn't a stranger. He was the husband, the man of the house. Yet, everyone walked past him as if he were invisible, as if he didn't exist. His white shirt was soaked, his shoes muddy. But the real dirt wasn't on his clothes. It was the shame he carried in his chest, the weight of betrayal and public humiliation, from the woman he loved most. Inside the house, Vanessa laughed loudly with her friends. Her designer dress sparkled under the chandeliers Michael paid for. She toasted to freedom, clinking her glass against a man she introduced as a business mentor. Nobody questioned it. They all followed her like sheep. But Michael? He remained outside, staring at the sky like it owed him an explanation. You see, this wasn't just the story of a broken man. This is the story of how a woman destroyed a kingdom she didn't help build, and how karma served it back. Hot. How many men like Michael are suffering in silence today? If this first chapter already hit you, why are you still watching without subscribing? Some of you scroll past stories like this until it becomes your brother, your father, or even you. If you won't subscribe, go to the comments and explain why this pain means nothing to you. We'll wait. Those who stay silent now will cry the loudest later. Don't be that person. Hit subscribe if you still have a heart. Share this story now, not for views, but so someone doesn't go to bed tonight feeling invisible like Michael. It all started 17 years ago, when Michael met the woman who would change his life forever. Michael was just 25 when he first saw Vanessa. She wore a royal blue dress and smiled like she had heaven on her lips. But behind that smile was a fire he didn't see coming. He met her after church, holding a Bible in one hand and a scholarship acceptance letter in the other. She was educated, confident, and ambitious. Michael, on the other hand, sold spare parts in the market, nothing but grease under his nails and a heart full of dreams. But she smiled at him anyway. They became friends, then lovers. And even when everyone told Michael, "She's not your type, bro. She's out of your league," he didn't listen, because love is blind, isn't it? He sold 2 motorcycles to help her pay for her visa. She didn't ask him to. He offered, smiling like a fool, thinking love meant sacrifice. And when she left for the UK, he promised to wait, even if it took 10 years. But what he didn't know was that some people return from abroad with more than a degree. They return with pride. While Vanessa studied in air-conditioned classrooms, Michael built empires with blistered hands and faith alone. Michael expanded his spare parts business. From a corner stall, he opened a second shop, then a third. He started selling wholesale. His fingers never left the grease, but his eyes were on the sky. Every month he sent money to Vanessa. Rent, tuition, even extra for emergencies. His friends called him a fool. His siblings warned him. But he believed. She called him "my king" in every email, sent him filtered selfies and future wedding ideas. Michael was planning a real life, a home, a future. He bought a piece of land, paid for her dream kitchen appliances in advance, even added her name to a business account. But love, when only one person is building it, becomes a prison. And Michael, he was laying bricks on a house he never knew would become his cage. Men like Michael are mocked for loving too deeply. If you've ever been called a fool for love, click subscribe now and reclaim your voice. If you keep giving to someone who never gives back, this is your wake-up call. Hit that subscribe button before it's too late. Those who won't subscribe, tell us why in the comments. You think this can't be your story? You don't realize it yet, but this could be your brother, your son, your best friend. Save a soul. Share this chapter before someone builds a home for their own heartbreak. 4 years later, Vanessa returned. Same woman, but not the same spirit. Michael ran to the airport with flowers. He wore a suit he couldn't afford. She walked out in high heels and sunglasses, dragging 2 big bags and a bigger attitude. She hugged him, but it was quick, shallow. Her eyes scanned the crowd, as if expecting someone more impressive. On the ride home, she barely spoke, only criticized the car's air freshener. He had bought a 3-bedroom house for her, decorated it with her favorite colors. He expected tears of joy, but she scoffed. It's nice, but not quite what I'm used to anymore. From that day, things were different. She changed how she dressed, how she spoke, how she looked at him. And the worst part? Michael blamed himself. He told himself, she just needs time. She'll adjust. It's culture shock. But what he didn't know was that she wasn't adjusting. She was calculating. It started with little things. A smirk when he mispronounced a word. A sarcastic wow when he brought her flowers. Small embarrassments that pierced like knives. Michael's family visited for the first time in months. He wanted to show them how far he had come. He wore his best outfit, cooked with his own hands, smiled proudly beside his wife. But when his mother complimented the food, Vanessa laughed out loud. Oh, please. He only knows how to burn rice, that's me. Everything here is me. Everyone laughed, nervously. Michael smiled, but inside something cracked. Later that week, she scolded him in front of their children for talking too much during church. Then came the sarcastic eye rolls. The shut-ups, said under her breath. The phone calls to friends where she mocked his dress sense. He tries, but I swear sometimes I feel like I married a market tout. And through it all, Michael stayed silent. Because he didn't want people to say his marriage failed. Because he thought love meant endurance, he was wrong. Blood may be thicker than water, but even blood can run cold when truth is ignored. Michael's elder sister, Angela, pulled him aside after another awkward family dinner. Her eyes were red from holding back tears. Michael, please, I'm begging you. That woman doesn't respect you, she's tearing you down bit by bit. But Michael brushed it off. You're overthinking. She just has a sharp mouth. She means well. Angela shook her head in disbelief. You're defending your mistreatment, Michael. You call it love. I call it slow destruction. Their younger brother, Stephen, agreed. Bro, you used to smile more. You used to laugh. You're shrinking. But Michael couldn't admit it, not even to himself. He was too deep, too hopeful, too afraid to start over after giving everything. So, he wore his mask. Again. What Michael didn't realize was that the people who loved him were mourning him while he was still alive. Respect is the foundation of love. Remove it, and the whole house comes crashing down. Michael was invited to speak at a local community business event. It was his first public appearance as a successful entrepreneur. He was nervous but excited. Vanessa agreed to attend. He practiced his speech for days, even asked her for feedback. But when he stood on stage and stumbled slightly on a word, the audience giggled softly, because Vanessa was the first to laugh, loudly. He always does that, she called out. That's why I write his emails. The room went silent. Michael smiled through it, but his heart sank. Later at home, he confronted her gently. Babe, that was unnecessary. She rolled her eyes. Don't be dramatic. If you were more polished, I wouldn't need to rescue you. That night he lay awake, finally questioning if this was love or slow emotional execution. When people think you're not watching, that's when their true selves come out. One night Michael came home early. Vanessa didn't hear the door. She was on the phone in the kitchen, laughing, deep, unfiltered laughter he hadn't heard from her in years. No, he doesn't suspect a thing. He still thinks I love him. Can you imagine? Michael froze. He's just comfortable. Not ambitious. I'm tired of pretending. The only reason I'm still here is for the kids in the house. Once I sort out the paperwork, I'm done. He quietly walked back out, sat in the car, heart pounding, mind racing. The woman he loved had become a stranger with his last name. But even worse than the betrayal was the confirmation that he was right to feel alone. Trust is beautiful, until it's used as a weapon. Michael still didn't confront Vanessa. Instead, he hired a discreet financial investigator. What he discovered almost sent him into cardiac arrest. 2 of his properties had been transferred to a man named Raymond. Bank accounts were being drained slowly, bit by bit. Her signature was on documents he never signed. His email password had been reset. She wasn't just planning to leave him. She was planning to strip him bare before she left. How do you fight someone who knows your every move? Because you gave them access to everything. That night, Michael stared at the ceiling. Not crying, not screaming, just thinking. If you want peace, prepare for war. That's when the new Michael was born. You trust too easily, don't you? That's not love, it's a liability. Subscribe before your kindness is weaponized. If you won't click that button, at least tell us in the comments what you're still blind to. This isn't just a story, it's a mirror. Share it with someone before they're left with nothing. Do you know where your assets are? Do you know who has access? Better find out after you hit subscribe. Stop loving blindly, love smart. Protect yourself. Click that button now. When betrayal sits across from you at the dinner table, the spoon shakes in your hand. Michael planned a family photo shoot, one last attempt to patch the cracks. He hired a professional photographer, invited Vanessa's family, cooked her favorite meal. The pictures came out perfect. The smiles, even more perfect. But Michael knew it was all fake. I'm smiling for the camera, but bleeding on the inside. Vanessa posted the pictures online with the caption, "Blessed to do life with my king." Hours later, she texted Raymond, "Just 2 more weeks, then I'm gone." Michael read the message, not from her phone, but from a synced laptop she forgot about. That night, he didn't cry. He didn't speak. He simply smiled. Because the storm she didn't see coming was already forming behind his silence. Some storms don't come with warning signs, they come with silence. A calm so deep, you don't realize it's your last moment of peace. Michael's demeanor changed. He no longer argued. He didn't question. He didn't confront. He simply observed. Every morning he kissed his children gently and told them, "Daddy loves you more than life." Every night he checked his accounts, made backups of every document, reassigned business ownership under a shell company she didn't know existed. He watched Vanessa flirt on the phone, watched her send money to a man who called him weak in private messages. He said nothing, because when a wise man sees the fire coming, he doesn't scream. He gathers water and waits. And Vanessa? She mistook his silence for surrender. But what she didn't know was that Michael was just setting the stage. Some secrets are hidden in drawers, others are hidden in plain sight. Michael spent days quietly collecting evidence: emails, bank statements, transfer slips, voice recordings from synced devices, even conversations Vanessa had deleted. He hired a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, one of the most ruthless divorce attorneys in the city. Silent as a shadow, the paperwork was prepared. Custody strategy drafted. Asset protection activated. Then, he uncovered the final nail: a fake loan taken out in his name. She had forged his signature to access a $10 million facility, which he transferred to Raymond. Michael stared at the document. It wasn't just betrayal, it was criminal. And still, I stayed. Because of love. But now, I stay for justice. He didn't confront her. No, he smiled, and waited for the stage to be perfect. If someone you love has ever stabbed you financially, emotionally, or spiritually, don't suffer in silence. Subscribe now. This is not just a story. It's a survival guide, and someone you know needs to see this. Share it. You won't hit that button, will you? Because you think your pain is normal. Comment below if you still believe that lie. Silence won't protect you in court. Ignorance won't save you. Wake up, hit subscribe. Some of you are one forged signature away from ruin. Don't let it happen. Click that button. You know someone truly despises you when they throw a party with your money to honor your humiliation. Michael received the invitation via email. Join us in celebrating 15 years of a beautiful union. Signed, Vanessa Thompson family. There was no mention of him. Still, he smiled. The venue? A 5-star resort, booked under his company's account. The same account she thought was empty. His siblings warned him, "Don't go, it's a setup." But he insisted, "I need to see it. I need to feel the depth of what I'm walking away from." Vanessa wore red that day. Power color, control color. She clinked glasses with Raymond in front of everyone, introducing him as a business partner. Her friends laughed, her family applauded, and Michael? He stood at the back, watching, silent, because he already knew what was coming next. Sometimes the worst pain isn't in private, it's in public, where silence is your only shield. At the anniversary event, Vanessa took the mic, her voice confident, her smile wide, but her heart? Cold. 15 years, with a man who taught me patience, a man who reminds me every day what settling looks like. Laughter. I mean, let's be honest. Love is not enough, right? Ambition matters. And ladies, don't marry a man who still uses a Nokia in 2025. The room erupted. Michael just sat there, still, calm, like a statue built by pain. His children were present, so were his in-laws. Nobody defended him. No one spoke. I gave this woman my soul, he thought, and she gave me shame in return. But what Vanessa didn't know was that her mic was recording everything, and the footage was being backed up to a cloud drive Michael had set up that same morning. Every storm has a purpose. Every rainfall washes away one layer of denial. The party was over. Michael stood outside, soaked by rain, his suit clinging to his skin like a reminder of how exposed he now was. Guests walked past him. Some ignored him. Others offered pity, but none stayed. His siblings tried to console him. He waved them off. Let me feel this. Let me bury this version of me in this rain. And in that moment, something inside him shifted. He wasn't broken. He was being reborn. Because only when a man is emptied completely can he truly start over. Michael wasn't weak. He was preparing for the most graceful revenge the world had ever seen. Some battles are won in silence on paper, not in shouts, not in punches, but in quiet preparation. 3 days after the party, Michael walked into his lawyer's office. No tears, no hesitation, only certainty. Initiate the divorce, he said. Full custody, asset recovery, financial fraud investigation. I'm done protecting what tried to kill me. His lawyer, already briefed, handed him the documents. Every I was dotted, every T crossed. Vanessa had no idea the fire she lit would burn her entire ladder. Michael signed with hands that once built dreams for her. Now they were signing her exit. He didn't send a warning, no text, no call. She would be served, publicly, because some lessons must be taught with full audience. When karma wears a suit and tie, it doesn't knock, it delivers. Vanessa was in the living room with her friends, gossiping, sipping champagne, laughing about the anniversary party. Then the doorbell rang. She answered, expecting a package. Instead, she was handed a court envelope. Divorce proceedings, fraud, asset theft, full custody claim. You've been served. Her friends went quiet. She opened it with trembling hands, her face drained of color. What is this? He's bluffing. He can't survive without me? But one of her friends whispered, You pushed him too far, V. I told you, he's not weak, he's patient. She ran upstairs, tried calling Michael, blocked. She tried accessing his business accounts, frozen. For the first time, the queen had been checkmated. When the tables turn, silence speaks louder than screams. Subscribe if you believe in justice served cold. She laughed while he bled. Now she's trembling while he rebuilds. Hit that button if you felt that shift. If you still think good people always finish last, comment below. Let's hear your side. Don't wait for betrayal to become your teacher. Share this now before someone you love learns too late. Watch the ones you called weak turn into warriors. Subscribe or miss the transformation. The truth may be buried, but it never dies. It waits quietly for the right moment to rise. As Vanessa scrambled to defend herself, she discovered the documents Michael had gathered. Emails she thought were deleted, bank transfers, voice recordings, security camera footage from her own phone, backed up without her knowledge. The man she mocked for being clueless had documented every lie, every insult, every betrayal. Worse, Michael's legal team presented proof that her secret lover Raymond had been married all along, and under police investigation for fraud in 2 states. Suddenly, Vanessa was alone. No money, no backup, no plan. Her family turned their backs. Her mother called her a disgrace. She blamed everyone, except herself. You think your kids don't see the tension, the silence, the tears, but children hear the screams, even when they're silent. Michael sat in the bedroom, packing his son's school bag when 10-year-old Jude walked in. "Daddy, are you and Mummy going to stop being married?" Michael froze. "Why do you ask?" Jude replied softly, "Because she always calls you names when you're not there. Melody hears it too. She cries sometimes." Michael's heart cracked again, but not from pain, from guilt. "I stayed for them, but they were already bleeding." He held Jude close. "No matter what happens, Daddy loves you, and I'll never leave you." That night, Michael rewrote his will. The children would be protected, legally, emotionally, financially, because love isn't staying in a broken home. Love is saving your children from learning brokenness. Letting go isn't weakness. It's the moment a prisoner sets himself free, with the keys he always had. Weeks passed. The court ruled in Michael's favor: full custody, financial restitution, legal consequences for fraud. Vanessa was left with her name and her shame. But Michael didn't celebrate. He moved into a modest house with his kids. No flashy lifestyle, no revenge posts, no bitterness. He started over quietly, opened a new business, reconnected with friends, took therapy sessions, even started volunteering. And every night he told his kids, "We don't hate her. We just learned what love isn't." He didn't let his pain poison him, because the strongest revenge isn't destruction. It's peace. When a foundation is built on lies, don't be shocked when the building collapses mid-celebration. Raymond, Vanessa's secret lover, the same man she betrayed her husband for, was arrested 2 weeks later. His real name? Kevin Raymond Daniels. Married with 2 kids in a different city. And worse? He was wanted in 2 states for identity theft and embezzlement. Vanessa had been funding a fugitive. As his arrest made the news, Vanessa sat in her now empty duplex, no money, no car, no man, just silence and regret. The women she once mocked were now laughing at her. And Michael? He simply turned off the news. He had no time for drama. He was taking his kids to the park. Because peace doesn't come with front-page headlines. It comes with letting the storm pass. If betrayal never shocked you, you've seen too much. Hit subscribe to protect yourself emotionally. She chose a con over a king. If you've ever been replaced by someone who couldn't carry your shadow, subscribe now. Still watching and not subscribed? What are you afraid of? Seeing the truth about your own situation? Don't wait until the news breaks your heart. Comment below if you've learned that lesson too late. This is more than a story, this is a mirror. Share it before someone else marries a Raymond. Some lessons don't come with a warning. They arrive screaming when the audience is gone. Vanessa stopped leaving her house. The bold, flashy woman who once insulted her husband in public was now a ghost in her own life. Her family didn't want her back. Raymond was gone. Michael had moved on. And the children? They refused her calls. She tried everything: lawyers, threats, promises, tears. But Michael had evidence, legal rights, and peace. One night she called her sister crying, "I lost everything, and he didn't even fight me. He just left me behind." Her sister replied coldly, "You humiliated him, V. What did you expect? A hug?" Vanessa finally collapsed. A woman who had it all, destroyed by her own ego. Real revenge doesn't come in screaming matches. It comes in soft wins, silent growth, quiet joy. 6 months after the divorce, Michael opened a new community tech hub, training unemployed youth in digital skills. He was mentoring, rebuilding, impacting, and people noticed. Isn't that the man whose wife disgraced him on Facebook? Yes, but look at him now. A local TV station interviewed him. He didn't mention Vanessa once. He only said, "Sometimes life removes what's destroying you before you even understand its purpose." His children? Happier, smiling, safe. His face? Clear. His spirit? Whole. Vanessa watched that interview from her tiny rented flat. She finally understood. The man she mocked became the man the world respected. Time doesn't erase betrayal, but healing writes new chapters over old scars. Michael's mother hosted a family dinner 1 year after the divorce. He brought the kids. Everyone was there. Cousins, aunties, uncles, the same ones who saw Vanessa humiliate him. Now, they embraced him like a returning king. "Michael, you look younger. Those kids look happy. You really made it out of the fire, son." During the toast, his younger brother stood and said, "You didn't curse her. You didn't hit back. You rose, and that taught us what strength really is." Michael smiled. His silence had spoken volumes. His healing had led the family. And when he hugged his mother, she whispered, "You didn't lose, my son. You were delivered." Sometimes the same door you slammed becomes the only door left to knock. Vanessa stood outside Michael's new home. She looked tired, empty, broken. She knocked. No answer. She knocked again. Finally, little Jude peeked through the window. "It's Mummy," he whispered. Michael stepped out slowly. She fell to her knees. "Michael, I'm sorry. Please, let me see them." He looked at her, not with hate, but with pain. "You had your chance, Vanessa. Now I protect what's left of me." He handed her a contact card for a therapist and a legal liaison. "Heal, and maybe one day they'll want to know you again, but don't knock here unhealed." He walked back inside. The gate closed. There's a kind of peace that feels like wealth. And Michael was finally rich. 1 year later, Michael moved into a larger home, modern, warm, full of laughter. His kids, excelling in school. His business, expanding into 3 more cities. His heart, finally open again, but this time not to prove anything. One day his daughter asked, "Daddy, are you happy now?" He smiled, kissed her forehead, and replied, "Yes, baby, because I'm finally free." He didn't need a crowd to cheer, no revenge speech, just stillness and joy. This chapter was never about Vanessa. It was about him, choosing peace over pride. Change doesn't begin with an apology. It begins with accountability. Vanessa finally started therapy. It wasn't smooth. At first, she blamed Michael. "He wasn't ambitious. He didn't fight for me." But the therapist asked, "Did you fight for him?" Silence. Session after session, her walls cracked. She wept. She confessed. She accepted her trauma, her patterns, her pride. For the first time in years, Vanessa stopped performing. She was just a woman, hurt, confused, but willing to heal. Not for Michael, not for public validation, but for her soul. Healing begins where blame ends. Subscribe now if you're ready to break your cycle. Comment if you believe therapy is a gift, not a weakness. Still not subscribed? You might be avoiding the mirror. Face it now. Share this story with someone still blaming others for their own mess. If Vanessa can start over, so can you. Subscribe before your damage becomes permanent. Kids remember everything, even the silence. On Jude's 13th birthday, he wrote a letter to his mother. It read, "Dear Mummy, I know you loved us even when you hurt us. I forgive you. But we're still healing. Daddy gave us peace. You gave us fear. Please become the mummy we needed even if it's too late to come home. Love, Jude and Zena." Vanessa wept holding that letter. It wasn't filled with hate, but it wasn't an invitation either. It was closure. And sometimes, that's the best gift children can give. Truth. The world always talks loudest when they see someone rise and someone else fall. In the community, Michael was now respected. Vanessa, pitied. Some blamed her. Others sympathized. But one truth remained clear. She humiliated her husband, and in the end, she only disgraced herself. But what shocked everyone most was how Michael never spoke a word against her. He really took the high road, they said. That man didn't just survive, he inspired. Even strangers began to quote his journey. His name became more than a scandal. It became a legacy. This isn't a story of divorce. It's a story of dignity, of how you rise when someone tries to bury you alive with shame. Michael didn't become perfect. He simply became free. Vanessa didn't get her husband back. She got her truth. The children didn't get a fairy tale. They got a father who showed them what strength looks like. And the world? It got a reminder. Never humiliate someone holding your heart. One day they might just hand it back. So if you're watching this now, ask yourself, am I building or breaking? Am I Vanessa or Michael? And whatever you do next, choose peace, choose truth, choose growth. You made it to the end. That means this story touched something deep. Subscribe now. Don't betray your healing. Comment who you became in this story. Vanessa, Michael, or the child. Still not subscribed? You watched his pain, her fall, the kid's scars. What more do you need? Share this story now. You could save a marriage, a life, or a legacy. This isn't just fiction, it's someone's future. Don't scroll past, subscribe, reflect, rise. Dear viewers, you just heard a story that carries a powerful lesson, one that could change someone's life, open a mind, or heal a heart. But if you walk away without liking, sharing, or subscribing, it's like silencing the voice of our ancestors who passed down these tales. Don't let their wisdom fade. Don't be the reason the next person never hears this message. Like, share, subscribe. Let the story live on. Thank you for watching.